What's up, guys? It's Trevor, the High Desert Tactical, and this is my answer to my Q&A giveaway video, or it's also labeled the Vortex Optics Swag giveaway video right now, but it used to be HDTs Q&A giveaway video. A lot of people, it didn't really seem like it was getting very much traffic, so I changed it halfway through in December to this title and to see if I gained some more views, but no one took interest. So this video is gonna be a little bit different. It's gonna be roughly 30 to 40 minutes long, so if you guys don't have the time to watch it right now, it's just gonna be screen capturing. You can listen to me tell some stories and answer some questions if you would like. If not, add it to your watch later list while you have time, if you're driving to work, or you're working on cleaning on some guns, or in your shop or whatever, and you just want to hear what I'm talking about. It'd be a good thing to do. So let's get started. Andrew Likes Guns asked me about shooting steel out of an AR-15 versus brass, and I went into detail in a video for him. So if you guys are interested, the video link is down in the comment below his to check it out. So I'm not going to be able to go into answering that, but it's kind of detail, and I just give my thoughts on it. So the Real Dingus asks me, a new wave of terrible gun measures have gone through, and you're only allowed to keep one firearm in your current collection, and which one would you choose to keep? And he says, assume that you can no longer conceal carry either. Otherwise, I'd assume you'd pick a carry piece. So to be honest with you, if a gun control measure went that bad where they basically said, out of all the guns I have now, I can only keep one, it's pretty crazy. So, excuse me, I would keep a gun that is easy to maintenance and extremely reliable. And in my world, the most reliable gun on the planet is a revolver. And the only revolver that I have that is fairly effective for self-protection, maybe even feeding myself, is a 38 Special Smith & Wesson Model 10 that I have. That's like from the 1950s. And the reason why I want a revolver is because if the gun control measures are that bad where you can't, conceal carry, I'm assuming they probably have magazine laws. They've probably cracked down on firearms manufacturers, and parts and things are extremely hard to get a hold of, especially for semi-autos that do take a little bit more upkeep than a revolver. Revolvers are pretty darn solid. So that's what I would go with to answer that question. ZRS, or Zombies RS, which is a really cool channel. You guys should check them out. They're a lot of fun. I've been following them for a long time, but he asked me, do I know the Muffin Man, the one that lives on Drury Lane? Now, to get real technical, I looked between Sisters, Bend, and Redmond, and even over in Portland to see if there was a Drury Lane, and I cannot find one. So to be honest, I don't know the Muffin Man, but I have heard of him. The High Desert Pioneer is asking me, how long did it take me to collect the video collection behind me? A lot of my video commentary that you see, I have a huge amount of DVDs behind me. I've been collecting those since I was about 16, and before that, I had a huge VHS collection, but I've pretty much got rid of 99% of my VHS because I've been able to replace them with either DVD or Blu-ray, and I just finally got rid of one other VHS, my Soylent Green VHS, because I was able to find it on Blu-ray, because Charleston Heston is a boss. And if you haven't seen Soylent Green, you should check it out. It's a pretty bitchin' movie, and it's a lot of fun to watch. So Dead Winter is asking about my movie collection. It's pretty epic. Is it mine? Yeah, it's mine. That's probably about a little less than half of what I got when you see in screen. That's 2 bookshelves that are about a little over 5.5 feet tall, just full of DVDs. So Dirt Dart asks me, what is my favorite beer? I like dark beers. I'm a big stout fan. I will drink Guinness if I'm desperate. But probably my most favorite beer is a espresso stout made by a company called Bend Brewing in Bend, Oregon. And they serve it on nitro, and they only make it about every other 2 or 3 years. They have a female brewer there that I don't know very much about her other than she invented this espresso stout. I'm not saying she invented the espresso stout style, but the one that she makes is extremely good, and I think it's underappreciated by far. Yankee For is asking me, when am I going to pop the question? And he's basically saying because his wife wanted to know. And for those of you who don't know, I've been with Sarah for a little over 4 years, and I actually asked her to marry me December 20th of 2014. And she said no. So, you know, no, I'm just kidding. She totally said yes. We're probably going to get married in July of 2017. We're poor and we both work real hard. Sarah's a teacher. It's like her 3rd year teaching, and she's a kindergarten teacher. So it's a lot of hard work, and we're trying to kind of get ourselves set up. And in order to give Sarah the wedding that she wants, we need to take our time, because I want her to have the wedding that she wants. I don't want to just get, you know, hitched because, you know, well, I mean, I want to get hitched, but so yeah. So that answers your question. NorCal Outdoors, Rex says, what type of camera do you use? And if your name is not Rex, it's got to be Rex, because that's what I think it is. But and we have the same birthday. What type of camera do you use? And if you have more than one, what's your favorite? So I've been in film since I was in high school, and I'm 34 now. I have several cameras. My main cameras are Canons. I have, I'm just going to go through them. I have a Canon SL1, which is a small SLR. It's like the smallest SLR Canon makes. I use it for first-person shooting. I have a Canon T5i that I use for filming myself. I have a Canon 7D that I use for my photography portion of my production company that I run on the side. And then I have a Canon Prosumer XA10 that I bought used that I use for my production stuff. It's that is my most favorite camera because it has XLR phantom powered inputs. So I can use some amazing microphones for good audio, which I really try hard to have good audio on my videos. I'm not saying my audio is better than most, but I feel that it's better than just a standard camera mic. So my XA10 is probably my favorite, but to be honest with you, the one that I use the most is my Canon T5i. It takes a lot of work. SLRs are not that fun to use for YouTube videos, especially when you film yourself. So Ed Bow wants to know, do you ever stress out about losing your gun rights due to your mental health issues? So I'm not sure if he's poking at me literally or he's kind of talking in general. I feel that I have no mental health issues. That's questionable by other people's opinions, but, you know, and that's a joke. But I do stress out about mental health. I feel that it's something that is very hard on people. There's people that don't want to seek help, that do need help because they're afraid that they're going to be treated differently. They're going to lose rights that they have and don't want to lose them. They don't want people telling them what they can and cannot do with their life. And I feel that our country is so hypersensitive that it scares people in getting help. And the biggest thing is like if somebody is having, you know, problems, feeling alone, depressed, anything like that, call a 1-800 hotline, a helpline. Do whatever you can. Don't ever feel like you're alone. I mean, crap, man. If you got issues, you can contact me. I can't promise I'm going to fix anything, but I mean, at least I might be able to tell you to talk to somebody or tell you that you're not alone, because you're never alone. And so, yeah, I stress out about mental health issues, especially here in our country. And that's like the truth. So to be honest, you know, so yeah. Captain Chaos says, what experience, if any, are you former military, law enforcement, or self-trained, or just taking classes regarding self-defense, or nothing at all? He says I don't remember, but I do remember about us disagreeing on the AR-15 for home defense. I don't care for an AR-15 to be used for home defense. And I live in the country. My closest neighbor is like a half a mile away. So I really don't worry about I have my AR rigged up and ready to go if I have a coyote get on our property, starts harassing our horses or my dogs or my cats. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's everything has an application, but I don't believe in AR-15 because, dude, you'll shoot through every wall in your house, out of your house, into your neighbor's house, and right into their ass, whether it's tumbling, broke apart, or whatever, while they're in the shower. And it's just extremely dangerous. And people are going to argue about buckshot, 45 9mm. Oh, they go through walls and everything like that. The odds are of them penetrating fully through a house out into the wide open world outside your home where there's people that aren't even involved with you to be affected is less than shooting an AR in your home. And I mean, we're getting way off course, but whatever. To answer your question, I am not former military. I'm not law enforcement. I have taken classes, a few classes in home defense, urban defense, and handgun training. And then I am self-trained by reading and watching educational videos and things like that. But I have taken Aikido for quite a while because before I even started concealed carrying, and if you're interested in my story why I started concealed carrying, I do have a video called why I conceal carry, and I go into depth about an interaction that scared the living crap out of me. But I took Aikido originally because I wanted to be able to defend myself against people. I knew people weren't good, but I was still pretty naive. I didn't realize it was that crazy. But I've wanted to be able to defend myself against weapon wielding people. So like I have enough training and confidence in my skill set to defend myself from knives, even firearms, bats, sticks, poles. I mean, anything. I feel that I'm able to defend myself. Now, whether I can keep myself from getting hurt, you're always going to get injured in an altercation, whether it's a cut, scrape, bruise, or whatever. But the fact is I'm still going to be alive and able to defend myself. So that's really the gist of that. But he gets back to the point of, he says, you know, since I don't use the AR for home defense, what do I use or prefer for home defense? Is I use a 45 ACP. I have an XDS that I just keep in its specific little area when I'm not wearing it on me. And I always go with a ballistic tipped or hollow point heavy and slow round. And that's what I use for home defense and personal defense. God, I got the hiccups. The Ranting Hick asks me, is the channel High Desert Tactical like the high desert as a place, or is it high like the desert like you're high? He's always wondered if it works either way. High Desert Tactical is a place. It's, you know, I live on the high desert. I'm not as high as some parts of Nevada, and they're very deserty. So like my name's not exactly as true as it is, but they do refer to Central Oregon as the high desert. And tactical is because I wanted to be a tactical YouTube, but it's a little bit kind of off. But how many campouts have you had? The Oregon Coast Prepper asks me, that I've had to cut short, and why? To be honest with you, I've never had to really cut a camp out short. I've slept in the snow. I've woke up to 3 inches of snow on my tent. It's rained me out. I've had to like reevaluate where I'm at and move in order to stay where I was at, but I've never had to cut anything short. But the closest I've ever been to like kind of ruining my camp out is I was camping on the Snake River in one of the gorge parts of it. And I was in a campground. My parents had a motorhome. I was in a tent in the second part. The wind got so bad, it collapsed my tent, broke all the poles. And it was just, I mean, it literally probably could have caught it like a kite and drug me and my dog off into the river. I don't know. So my stepdad came out and got me. We wrapped up the tent and everything that was in it, minus me and the dog, crammed it underneath the motorhome, and I ended up having to spend the rest of the weekend in the motorhome. But I still stayed because I was there to catch channel cats, and that's what I did for the whole weekend. Firearms News Weekly says, what made you really sit down and make a video and describe the attitude towards being a YouTuber, and please include what you wanted your channel to be like, what you wanted out of it, and why you went with what you did. Man, there's like a lot of complex questions, but I mean, it's cool. I'm glad that people are asking this stuff. What made me sit down and make a video? I have been doing video production for a long time, ever since I was in high school, on and off. And I have my little production company that I do. So making videos was just something I've always been doing. I mean, I remember having like 3 or 4 VHS VCRs stacked on top of each other with multiple tapes in it as I'm hitting stop, pause, record, stop, pause, record, stop, and cutting these videos together all by timing, and then being able to figure out a way to dub music over some of these videos and also keep the audio as well. And it was crazy. I loved doing it. And so what really made me sit down and make a video, I started the minute I was a freshman in high school, and I loved it. I liked the technical aspect. The attitude being a YouTuber is a YouTuber. The only thing is there's like a kind of a slight difference between YouTubers. Like, I am a YouTuber that works really hard to get where I'm at, and I move very, very slow. I'm not a one-hit wonder. I don't have access to things that make me awesome. And I'm also probably not the best storyteller, because there are people that, can make the crappiest videos, but tell such a great story. It just involves people. But the biggest thing about being a YouTuber is being creative, dedicated, and persevering. You have to overcome, objections. You have to overcome the obstacles in your idea, people that don't like you, people that, hurt your feelings, whatever. But you can't be a quitter. And that's the one thing I think a lot of YouTubers do, is they film a video with their phone, and somehow they have this idea in their brain that they're going to get a viral video and be awesome and end up being like FPS Russia. And it goes really, really slow, so slow that they don't, and then they quit. I mean, I've been on YouTube for 5 years, and I went 3 years before I even hit like 500 subs. So it's extremely difficult. So it takes dedication to be said YouTuber. So he says, include what you wanted your channel to be like. Well, I wanted my channel to be a gun channel. I had grandiose ideas about having guns and being cool and like learning tactical stuff and like maybe getting sponsored and people giving me guns to do videos and like getting access to all this cool stuff. And it was a pipe dream, or I don't even know. It was an illusion in my mind. And I almost quit because I was at that point where I was like, why am I not viral? Why have I not been cool? But I didn't. I just had to figure out like what I was, and what I ended up wanting to be is I wanted to be a regular person shooting guns and enjoying firearms and showing people that you not everybody that owns a firearm is high speed, low drag, Mr. Tactical, knife hand in your face. You're wrong. They're right. All this crap. A lot of people don't realize that the average everyday shooter outnumbers all the elitists and all the people that we know because of mass media, the Facebook, Instagram, whatever. They don't realize that we outnumber them like 1 billion to 1. And we are kind of like, we think we're all on our own little island and alone, and we're not. I do my videos because I want people to know that they're not alone, and I want to invite new gun owners. I want regular everyday shooters that have experience but don't really know how to share it, feel comfortable to talk to me and not feel like they'll be judged or made fun of or anything. And that's the whole point, is I'm a regular guy. I'm not military. I'm not law enforcement. I'm not fake. I don't take, James Yeager's freaking tactical classes. I wish I could. He'd probably eat me alive and I would fail and get kicked out, but I don't, because I would want to, but I don't, just like a lot of people. And that's why I went with what I did, because I just want to be a regular dude, and I never gave up. It's about being dedicated, overcoming objection, and changing with things. Like, if it don't work, try something different. Learn from your mistakes. Learn from your experiences. So, Azarelius, I am sorry if I can't say your name. What happened to the boxes of Remington Golden Bullet that you used to be on the shelves behind you? They're still there. I hide them. I get a kick out of people that watch my commentary videos with those DVDs and shelves behind me, that people see that. It's like that grenade in Film Riot. Everybody kind of keeps track of them, and when they move, people kind of are wanting to know where they go. Joe Dykes, shared on G+. He's just saying that he shared it because that was like one of the things I asked in the original video. Thank you, sir. Dubglock23 says, what do you think of the Scar 16 versus the 17? Do you think the price is worth it? And if so, which one would you recommend? I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know anything about the Scar. I don't know what the 16 is. I don't know what a 17 is. I don't know the difference between the two. I don't know how much they cost. I will tell you, I've seen a Scar. I don't know what one I was looking at. I held a Scar. I've held a black one. I've held a FDE one. I've held a OD green one, but I don't know anything about them. They're not a gun that's really interested me, so I've never done any research to really know anything about them. So I can't answer your question, but I do appreciate it. If anybody of you that know anything about the Scars, you should contact Dubglock23 and let him know, because I think he deserves a good answer, and I have failed you, sir. Tremin Roper says, how do you feel about the state of the world? It's going to hell in a handbasket. We are in a hypersensitive nation. We can't take any kind of ridicule. We can't handle it. You can't. He and she is words that they want to get rid of. Hard work is considered a racial term. The world, at least the U.S., is full of sissy, nana, ultra hypersensitive babies, and no one can handle it. And it sucks. So, as a world in a whole, we got North Korea that just thinks they're like the superpower of the world in their own little mind. I don't know, all kind. I can't even get into it. It's crazy. It's going to hell in a handbasket. It scares the crap out of me. I'm glad I don't have children. I want to have children, but I want my children to grow up in the world that I grew up in, where it was awesome and fun, and there wasn't anything scaring us, and like I had food on my table, and I was never worried that the lights would go out. My family took good care of me. Right now, the way people get paid, the way people get abused at work, the way we can't even talk to people, it sucks. So yeah, just way out there. Douchebag Out says, do you use dark and lovely dye to dye your beard? No, I don't, but I do use mane and tail to condition it. For those of you that are equine experts, you know what mane and tail is, and I know you've used it. Dirt Road said, should Donald Trump grow a comb over Hitler mustache? I can't answer that. I don't even know how to answer that. That's an extremely interesting question. I do appreciate Donald Trump's candor. I appreciate that he says things that we all think, but no one will say. Does he have poor timing? Yes. Does he have poor tact? Yes. Could he really screw up like our world relations? Oh, yeah, he could. Do we need it? I don't know. Comb over Hitler mustache. You guys should comment on that and let him know what you think. I cannot answer that. Jack of Trades. This question is going to drive me nuts because I'm going to have to admit to something to you guys. He says, what was the first anime you watched that really got you into it? The first one that made you interested in finding and watching more. And then he talks about sharing a video that I did, a shout out to Scrambled O. Off subject, Scrambled O right now, as of February 3rd, 2016, Scrambled O has a 7-year-old beagle that he loves very much named Hazel. She has, I think, I may be wrong, it's a nervous condition, but it's something that's really affecting her to the point where she needs a surgery in order to survive, but it's an extremely expensive surgery, but it has a high, like 90%er success rate, but it's like $4,000. So you guys should go check this Scrambled O's channel. If you are a pet lover, you feel that pets are your family, not a something you own. They are not just a companion. They are your family. They are your friend. If you care and you have like $5 to spare, $2 to spare, doesn't matter. Go send some support to Scrambled O and help Hazel get back on the road to recovery, because they are like family, and it's like losing a loved one, and it even hurts more to watch them suffer. So on subject of Jack of Trades, I appreciate you guys listening to that. The first anime that I ever saw, and yes, I watch anime, so if any of you want to judge me, you can kiss my ass. I do not care. I own firearms. I take Aikido classes, and I am just as manly as anybody else, but anime is cool. And the first one that I watched that got me into it, kind of technically, is I was about 12 years old. I was staying up till like 2 o'clock in the morning on a Friday night, because that's what you did, and it was awesome. And you stayed up and watched cable, because if you were cool enough and had cable, in my family, my mom and Daryl, they had HBO and Showtime, and I think it was on HBO, is Akira showed up on HBO. It was like the darkest anime cartoon thing. I didn't know even what an anime was at the time. Darkest cartoon I've ever seen, but I was enamored by how cool it looked and the storyline and like what was going on. And it's funny nowadays, like kids are blowing people up. They're like 9 years old playing Black Ops and freaking The Hills Have Eyes or whatever, and they're desensitized and they're like, why is that a cartoon? Point is that's what I saw, and it always kind of stuck in my mind. So if I ever saw it again on television, I'd watch it. But the first one that actually made me start to find and discover more anime was a 2-part series called Karas, Karas. And it's the most epic anime. Thumbs up this video if you know what Karas is. If you don't, and you watch anime and don't admit it to anybody, that's fine with me. I don't care. Look up Karas, the Prophecy, and Karas, the Revelations. And I think Prophecy is the first one, and Revelations is the second one. Make sure you figure out which one's first, because it'll screw it up. But it is awesome. The animation is amazing. The soundtrack is amazing. The story and dialogue is freaking amazing. It's sick. And that's what got me into watching more anime, and that's a totally different story. I do have another YouTube channel where I cover some of that stuff, but you'll have to find that on your own. 0Cypher7 asks me, what got me into guns, and what made me make YouTube vids? 2-part question. What got me into guns? I grew up with guns. I grew up in a house with guns behind all my doors. I'm not saying my family were gun nuts or anything. My mom owned a salon. My stepdad was the fire chief of a fire department for like 30 years. My dad was a forestryman that basically ran falling crews for logging companies and things like that. But I grew up with guns behind every door, or not every door, but in closets, and everybody hunted in my family. I am not a hunter, but my dad, Daryl, they're all bird hunters, deer hunters, whatever. The thing is I was taught a respect and healthy respect for firearms, and I knew about guns before I could even know. I can't even remember not knowing anything about guns, and that took out the curiosity, took out the mystery of a firearm. So me and my brother, my half brother Shane, and my stepbrother Dale. Shane's 6 years older than me. Dale's like almost 10 years older than me. We never had any incidences with a firearm. We never had our friends fool around or goof around with firearms. We grew up with a respect of the home, a respect for what was in it, and we grew up with a respect of guns. And when I was old enough, I was allowed to take my gun out into the backwoods and go shoot my .22 by myself. I mean, I'm talking like when I was like 13 years old. So that's what got me to guns. I just grew up with them and I just like them. And as I got older, I learned more about our constitutional values and like how firearms are involved with that. And that's not just about guns, but whatever. What made me make YouTube videos? That's even a different story. Basically, like right around when I created my YouTube, or just before I created my YouTube, my best friend Caleb died on a motorcycle. And before I had YouTube or even knew what YouTube was, it was out, but I just was never an internet guy. Caleb and I were motorcycle guys. Been riding motorcycles since we were 13. We've been, riding street bikes since we were 16 when we weren't even supposed to. But I've always had bikes. And just right around about, 5 years ago, Caleb basically died on a motorcycle, and it was really hard for me. The bike I had at the time was a Yamaha FCR 600. I sold that bike within like a month after Caleb's passing, and I had to find something to do with myself. I needed something to occupy my time. So I started watching YouTube way more. I kind of realized what YouTube was capable of doing, even though it was out for so many years before that. I spent more time on the internet, maybe because I was feeling unsociable and I was more in my home than when I normally would be outside. And I started watching a channel. His name is Fred Hart, and his channel was called Gun Geek. And then he had his channel turn into Gear Obsession. But Fred Hart really got me. I was like, I wanted to be like Fred Hart, because I don't know if you know him or anything. I don't really know how to explain him, but he does like gear reviews now, but he used to have a gun channel, and that was what really got me going. He's ex-military. I think he was in the Navy, and if he somehow sees this and hears it, I apologize if I'm wrong. But very smart, super friendly. He is literally, I would bet money, he's exactly the way he is in person as he is on YouTube. And he's somebody I would like to meet one day. And he inspired me to make YouTube videos, and it was actually what got me motivated to do things. And then it kind of helped me move on and be able to cope with my loss of my best friend. Broken Tape Deck asks me, what do you want to do a vlog with a special guest star, Paco Loco? Well, dude, you keep moving around, but it sounds like you're to the east of me now. And yeah, we'll figure it out maybe someday. I don't know. Seth Bellamy, always commenting on my videos. One of the best points of view that I got, and I always appreciate what he has to say. He says, what's your favorite cup of coffee? And if the human body could withstand explosives, would you put C4 in your coffee, like Super Energy or something? You obviously are going for that unique question to catch my attention. And first, my favorite cup of coffee is actually Boyd's Coffee. And Boyd's Coffee is like that crappy like coffee franchise that they put in like gas stations. And there's like 72 different flavors. There's like rip your eyelids off caffeinated mama. And there's like blow your brains out sleepy wakey uppy coffee. Well, they have what they call their original roast, which is called 423rd, because they originally started roasting coffee on a street called 423rd. And so, or 423rd or whatever. That's what I drink, with a buttload of sugar and a buttload of creamer in it. That's what I do every morning. I stop at the Tumalo gas station to get coffee. Every morning before I go to work. NWI Prepper, he's just saying that he's sharing the video. And the video that he liked to share is the F YouTube trolls. If you're interested in how I envision myself dealing with a-holes on YouTube, you might want to watch this, because it's definitely how I think I would handle it. It's a little over the top. I regret some of the stuff I came up with, but you should check it out. Richard Bromelo asks me, do I vape? And is it because I'm a cloud chaser, flavor chaser, or cigarette quitter, or maybe all three? I do not vape, and I will go on a little mini rant about vaping. I was interested in vaping, but every vape store I've gone to in Central Oregon and on the coast of Oregon, they are elitist buttholes. And I like using the word elitist. You'll notice that. It's people that think they're better than you, and they act like it, and they condemn you for asking questions, and I don't know anything about vaping. I watch videos on vaping, and I still don't know what I'm watching. And I'm interested in vaping. I think it's a cool idea. All right. But I've had such bad rapport with everybody that sells vape stuff. I don't want to buy vape stuff. So no, but I will tell you, I do like smoking pipe tobacco, and my favorite pipe tobacco is a Cavendish that News and Smokes, which is a franchise in Oregon that makes. It's their house blend of Cavendish, and it's amazing. And I will smoke cigars from time to time at cigar bars, or maybe while I'm at a casino or something like that. So yeah. Tramon Roper says, make vids about politics. So that's more of a demand or a statement versus a question. I would make more politic videos, but to be honest with you, I have a hard time backing up my views. Like, I'll do my own research and come to a conclusion and then have a view. But then when somebody wants to rebut me, I have a hard time trying to verbalize like my statement back to him. And it's really hard. I don't like being chewed up alive and not being able to defend myself. So the political videos that I do make on my YouTube, I do a lot of thinking about, and I do a lot of thorough planning before I put them out. I try to make them as closed-ended as possible. That way people can't come at me. And if they do, I have like a small note system set up so I can back up what I have to say. And realistically, I think a lot of my viewers aren't very political. And if you are, you should let me know and let me know what you think of my views. And maybe I might get a little bit more involved. But I don't want people to think that I'm a ranting, raving lunatic, because that's what I feel like when I'm trying to share my point of view on certain things. So yeah, sorry, man. Nick Ackerman says he wants to know, what creepy questions I ask. I said where I was like, ask me anything, even if it's weird. And he says, that's just if it happened since I mentioned it. No creepy questions, I guess. My real question, he's saying, is how often do you train with your concealed weapon, and how, let's see, take it out, and how many rounds do you shoot through it? Also, he showed his buddy my channel, and I appreciate that very much. I'm glad that you enjoy what I do. And if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be doing this. I train on my own property because I can shoot on my property every weekend, and during the winter, it's usually every other weekend. If the weather permits, I'll train every weekend. When I do live fire training, I usually shoot between 20 and 50 rounds. I know that's not very much in reality, but obviously I'm a regular guy. I work hard, and I can only shoot as much as I can afford. And I have a certain amount of ammunition that I keep, and I don't dip into. So if my ammo lot doesn't allow it, I do not live fire train. But I'm always training drawing and like my situational awareness at all times. Like, and it's not like I'm paranoid or anything. I've had people tell me that they feel sorry for me because they ask me what it's like. And I'm just like, it's just like being overly aware, and it doesn't bother me. It's like, it's kind of cool because then I see more, and I get to witness things because I'm more alert. I'm not just like in my zone staring in my phone. So, every weekend as possible. I use my XDS 45 is what my choice of concealed carry is. And I shoot, between 20 and 50 rounds, if a little bit more. And then, I do a lot of training trying to draw. That's my biggest fear, is not being able to draw my weapon efficiently or dangerously. I'm afraid I could shoot myself. So I'm always really focusing on how to move my clothing out of my draw path when drawing. And I know you don't quick draw when concealed carrying, but there's like a lot of different ideas. I'm kind of a take cover, evaluate, draw, and then take action if needed. That's just how I work. But thanks, man. NWI Prepper gonna be the first guy that actually asked the question, because we're down at the bottom at the very beginning. It says, what does your absolute untested gear, what was your absolute worst untested gear day while camping, fishing, hunting? To be honest with you, I don't really have one. I do a lot of, backwoods hiking where I'm like, I'll go for 3 or 4 days, and I'm pretty thorough about what I do. And I've never really had any incidences where I've like failed and like definitely it was bad. All my gear, I'm usually very knowledgeable or aware of how it works. I've tested it at home or whatnot. But I will tell you, one time I did spring before last, I went camping in Marion Lake, which is a 2.5 mile hike up into the Cascades. It's about a 10% grade up as you get there. So it's pretty strenuous, at least for me, being a fat, short guy. I get up there, it's raining, it's early spring, it's bad. I could not get a fire started. Everything was just soaking wet. And so I had, my friend had a pocket rocket stove. And so we were able to boil water and drink hot tea and stay warm. And we did stay dry. We were prepared to stay dry, but it was just cold. And like, fire is always a morale booster for when you're out in the woods, and especially when things are a little tougher on you. But we were able to find some dead standing cedar, and we finally got a fire going within like the second day of camping. So that's kind of how it worked out. But, worst untested gear day, I haven't really had one yet. It doesn't mean that it's not going to happen, but I haven't had it happen yet. So yeah, you guys, that's the end of all the questions. I appreciate everything. And I also want to say thank you to Vortex for making this possible. I will be announcing the winners in the next video. That's really gonna be in like a day. So if you're at the end of this video, you are a champion for watching it, because I still don't even have a clue how long it is because my video counter doesn't say that. So I will announce the 3 winners in a video, letting them know that they won. I will basically contact them directly through their YouTube channels. If you know that you won, contact me through my YouTube channel or email me, Trevor@hdtyt.com. It's Trevor@hdtyt.com, and let me know. If I'm not able to get a hold of somebody, I'm going to give a week from my notification, and then I will have to pick somebody to replace them until a winner is actually contacted. Other than that, you guys take care, be safe, and like I said, man, thanks for sticking with me, and I promise I won't make a video this long ever. Well, I really try not to. I am not a nut and fancy.